Hello, Quaker Valley High School families. We hope everyone has been enjoying a safe and relaxing summer as we plan for a very different school opening. This presentation will provide you with information and clarity around our instructional options for the upcoming school year. I'm Deborah Riccobelli, the principal of Quaker Valley High School.
I'm Abby Bader, the assistant principal. Thank you for joining us for this presentation.
The purpose of this presentation is to share detailed explanations of the instructional models that are available for Quaker Valley High School students in grades 9 through 12. This information will help families make informed decisions about the options that are the best fit for their students. Before we explain the instructional options, it is important to define a few key terms. Synchronous learning refers to live instruction that happens in real time with a group of learners. Students will follow their regular school schedules and will participate in classes via Zoom with their teachers and classmates just as they would if they were in school. A live Quaker Valley teacher facilitates instruction. Teachers and students interact during the lesson, allowing for questions and feedback. Depending on the specific class, students will participate in a variety of activities during the session that may include direct instruction by the teacher, group activities conducted in Zoom breakout rooms, independent practice monitored by the teacher, and various application and assessment activities. The goal is to provide the best possible educational experience for our students. Asynchronous learning refers to learning that occurs online without real-time live instruction. At home, students participate in the lessons at their own pace. The teacher facilitates instruction through written documents, recorded videos, or screencasts. The teacher addresses questions and feedback after the lesson through email, discussion boards, office hours, or face-to-face sessions that occur in a hybrid model. Students will participate in a variety of activities during the session that may include direct instruction, group activities using a discussion board or other online tools, independent practice, or various application and assessment activities that are submitted through Schoology.
There are 3 instructional options at Quaker Valley High School from which families can choose. These options include on-campus hybrid learning, online learning, and the Quaker Valley Online Academy. We'll describe each option in detail shortly. The survey data from QV families indicated many prefer options that include more opportunities for students to have synchronous learning with their teachers and peers. Based on that feedback, the districts designed this hybrid model to allow for the greatest amount of live interaction between our teachers and students while providing an environment that adheres to the district's health and safety plan. Also, unlike the elementary students who can be placed in cohorts and remain in the classrooms for most of the day with little movement throughout the building, secondary students change classes frequently and are with different groups of students for each class. Some districts selected a hybrid model that divides the school in half and brings 2 small groups of students into the building 2 times per week per group. Although those students are in school for an additional day, they only have live access to the teacher twice each week. With Quaker Valley's hybrid plan, students will have 4 days of face-to-face instruction and learning with the QV teachers, 3 virtual days, and 1 on campus. We feel the increased amount of face-to-face time with the teachers will greatly benefit our students. As you may recall, when Quaker Valley moved to remote learning in the spring of 2020, our typical instructional and assessment practices were modified to meet the unprecedented circumstances created by COVID-19. We realize families are wondering how instruction will look this fall compared to remote learning last spring. Students will follow their regular schedules. Teachers will provide live synchronous instruction with increased rigor and expectations that align to our typical instructional, assessment, and grading practices. Finally, based on what we've learned since the spring, the district will be providing additional access to technology and online supplemental programs in order to best meet the needs of our students.
The Quaker Valley High School on-campus hybrid learning model uses Quaker Valley teachers and curriculum and allows for 4 days of live instruction, including 3 days of synchronous instruction via Zoom and 1 day of on-campus instruction in a smaller group setting. Students will be split into 2 groups for on-campus instruction to adhere to the district's health and safety plan. The groups will be organized alphabetically, but the specific alphabetical assignments for groups 1 and 2 have not yet been assigned. It's important to note that the alphabetical split will be consistent between the middle school and the high school, so that families with students in both buildings will follow the same schedules. In the hybrid model, students will only have 1 day of independent asynchronous learning. This slide displays student schedules for groups 1 and 2. As shown in the table, days 4 and 5 are slightly different depending on the student's assigned group. You may want to pause the presentation at this time to take a moment to look at the schedules. This slide details a typical weekly schedule for a student who selects the hybrid option. Students will complete a total of 5 instructional lessons that include synchronous, asynchronous, and on-campus in-person instruction. Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays will include live synchronous instruction. Students will follow their typical school schedule and participate in flexible instruction provided by their Quaker Valley teachers. It is important to note that students do not report to campus on these days and will join their teachers and classmates in live sessions via Zoom. As mentioned previously, students will be divided into 2 smaller groups. On Thursdays, Group 1 students will report to campus for in-person instruction and complete Lesson 4. Group 2 students will participate in asynchronous, independent learning at home and complete Lesson 5. On Fridays, Group 2 students will report to campus for in-person instruction and complete Lesson 4. Group 1 will participate in asynchronous, independent learning at home and complete Lesson 5. You may be wondering why Lesson 4 occurs on different days for Groups 1 and 2. In the hybrid model, teachers will provide the same instruction to each small group while they are on campus, either Thursday or Friday. Lesson 5 is designed to be a completely asynchronous lesson that provides students with opportunities to independently apply their learning. Students can complete Lessons 4 or 5 in any order. QVHS students will continue to follow their regular schedules, including both core academic and elective classes. However, due to health and safety parameters and the instructional options, some elective classes may look different than they have in the past. We will be working closely with elective teachers over the next few weeks to make any necessary adaptations and design the best possible experience for elective classes in art, computer science, music, health and physical education, family and consumer science, and technology education.
The Quaker Valley High School online learning model allows students to remain at home full-time while engaging in 3 days of live synchronous instruction via Zoom and 2 days of independent asynchronous instruction. Similar to the on-campus hybrid model, the online learning model utilizes Quaker Valley teachers and curriculum. However, it allows students to learn from the safety of their homes without being required to report to campus. This slide displays the typical daily schedule for students engaging in the full-time online model. You may want to pause the presentation at this time to review the schedule. On Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, online students will be joining and learning with their Group 1 peers who are participating in the hybrid model. Students will follow their regular course schedule on those days by logging into Zoom with their Quaker Valley teachers. On those days when the hybrid students are in school for the 4th day of instruction, online students will be learning asynchronously. Online and hybrid students will complete the same asynchronous lesson on day 5. It is important to note that students participating in the online model will not fall behind those participating in the on-campus hybrid model. In a typical 5-day week, online students will be engaging in the same exact lessons as their peers in the hybrid model. The only lesson that differs is Lesson 4. That lesson will be flexible enough for both groups of students to be successful. We are asking that families consider these options carefully and commit to their chosen option for 12 weeks to maintain the safety of the classrooms. If the chosen option becomes problematic for a student at any time, families may contact their school counselor to discuss the possibility of switching to a different option.
The high school teachers go to great lengths to provide high-quality instruction in the classroom setting. The same will be true for the live synchronous instruction that they will provide via Zoom. Our teachers will design lessons that engage students in relevant and thoughtful learning. One of the most important components of the synchronous experience is the opportunity for students to interact with their teachers and peers to build meaningful connections and relationships. This slide reviews some of the learning experiences students will have depending on the type of course and the content area. On certain days, students may be learning new concepts through direct instruction from the teacher, while on others, they might be working collaboratively with peers using Zoom breakout rooms. In a synchronous environment, teachers will guide the learning and be available to answer questions, engage students in discussions, and provide individual or group feedback. In a math class, students might be working through a task with the teacher and discussing various strategies and solutions with their peers. Students in a science class might be completing a lab assignment or activity related to a science phenomenon. In social studies, students might examine a primary source document and discuss its relevance and relationship to the past and present. In an English class, students might work together to closely read and annotate a piece of text or discuss a piece of literature. Students in a world language class might engage in conversations using French or Spanish related to a specific theme while the teacher listens in to provide feedback. In elective areas, students might be sharing a project they've created and providing critiques or engaging in self-reflection. In all content areas, teachers often have students complete quick formative assessments such as an exit ticket with a few key questions to gauge student understanding after a lesson. These are just some examples of the learning that may occur in the synchronous setting.
The final option available to students is the Quaker Valley Online Academy, or QVOA, which has been in place at Quaker Valley High School for many years. This option is ideal for students who wish to have more flexibility by participating in a fully asynchronous learning environment, as students are not required to log in at specific times to meet with teachers. It is important to note that QVOA does not utilize Quaker Valley teachers and curriculum. Online course vendors and teachers are provided by Waterfront Learning at the Allegheny Intermediate Unit. The teachers and the QVOA coordinator monitor student progress and communicate regularly with students and parents. If a parent or guardian chooses this option, the QVOA coordinator and the school counselor will contact the student and family to discuss the details. Families with students who attend Parkway West Career and Technical Center may be wondering how the Quaker Valley choices might impact their Parkway program. At this point, Parkway is still in the process of deciding on the instructional options that will be available based on input from their 12-member schools. The important thing to note is that the decision families and students eventually make for the Parkway experience is separate from the decision they make for the Quaker Valley instructional choice. For example, if the option is available, a student could choose to attend Parkway as an on-campus experience, but could select the online option for QV instruction. We'll be sure to share the Parkway instructional models as soon as they are available, and are here to help students and families navigate those decisions. We know this presentation includes a great deal of information, so we want to provide a quick recap of Quaker Valley High School's 3 instructional options for the 2020-2021 school year. First, there is the on-campus hybrid learning option that utilizes Quaker Valley teachers and curriculum. It allows for 3 days of live synchronous instruction via Zoom, 1 day of on-campus instruction with classroom teachers, and 1 day of independent asynchronous instruction. Students will be split into 2 groups for on-campus instruction to adhere to the district's health and safety plan. The alphabetical split will be consistent between the middle school and the high school so that families with students in both buildings will follow the same schedules. Second, the online learning option also utilizes Quaker Valley teachers and curriculum. Like the on-campus hybrid option, it allows for 3 days of live synchronous instruction via Zoom. However, students in the online learning model will engage in 2 days of independent asynchronous instruction as opposed to just 1 day. Finally, the Quaker Valley Online Academy option is available to students but does not use Quaker Valley teachers or curriculum. This program utilizes outside vendors and curriculum and is completely asynchronous. Students will complete all learning independently. For parents of students with an individualized education plan or a 504 service agreement, all decisions related to students with IEP plans or 504 service agreements will be made by the IEP or 504 team in accordance with the IEP or 504 plan and goals. You can rest assured that we will be working collaboratively with families to meet the needs of students through the IEP or 504. With all 3 instructional choices, students may continue to participate in any available QVHS athletics and activities. Students must adhere to all QVHS and PIAA policies and eligibility guidelines as applicable.
There are several important dates that are part of next steps in the decision-making process for families. On August 4th and 5th, families should review the 3 instructional options available for Quaker Valley students and the information in this presentation. During the time frame of August 6th through August 9th, families will make a decision about which instructional option is most appropriate for each student attending Quaker Valley School District. Parents and guardians will receive a survey from the district via email and must report their final decisions to the school district by August 9th. For additional information regarding how the district will be implementing health and safety protocols, please go to the district's website to access the school district's health and safety plans and return to school plans. To the parents, guardians, and students, please know we understand the pressure you may be experiencing about the instructional decisions for this school year. We believe that whatever choice you make will be the right choice. The Quaker Valley School District administration, teachers, and staff look forward to working together with all of our families and supporting our students as we transition to the 2021 school year. If you have questions about the instructional options that were outlined in this presentation, please feel free to reach out to either of us at your earliest convenience. Questions about changes to specific student schedules or course selections should be directed to Ms. Julie Radakovich and Mr. Jim Walls, the school counselors. Remember, we're here to help our students and families navigate the coming school year. Thank you for joining us for this presentation, and please stay safe and healthy.